Your brand may be staying on top of current trends, but are you agile enough to stay relevant, resilient, and successful as customers, competition, and the world continues to change at a breakneck pace? I'm thrilled to share the newly revised version of my first book, The Agile Brand. I'm calling it The Agile Brand Revisited. It's been updated to reflect our continually changing world, and it provides 7 principles that form the backbone of an agile brand, offering detailed insights and actionable steps for incorporating them into your business strategy. This is the book that started it all, and I'm excited to share it with you. It's now available in print and digital formats and available everywhere. Learn more by going to the Agile Brand Guide website at www.agilebrandguide.com. Welcome to Season 4 of The Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom, where we discuss business agility through customer experience, employee experience, and digital transformation. I'm your host, Greg Kihlstrom. The Agile World podcast is brought to you by TEKsystems, an industry leader in full-stack technology services, talent services, and real-world application. For more information, go to teksystems.com. To read more about the topics discussed on this show, you can go to my website at gregkihlstrom.com and read my latest articles or get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, now available on Amazon and other retailers. My name is Greg Kihlstrom, and I'm the host of the Agile Brand podcast. Welcome to a special episode of the show brought to you in partnership with Arlington Economic Development, where we discuss issues related to the workforce, the role of place in the future of work, and the role of the creative sector in the larger business context. We call this Return on Creativity. Today, we're going to talk about fostering innovation and growth in rapidly changing times. I have with me a representative from one of the winners of the Inaugural Arlington REV Awards, which honors fast-growing, innovative companies in Arlington County, Virginia. Federated Wireless is a market leader in shared spectrum, making, deploying, and managing new 5G private wireless networks for a range of customers. I'd like to welcome Kurt Schaubach, Chief Technology Officer at Federated Wireless, to the show. Kurt, welcome.
Hey, Greg, thank you.
Yeah, looking forward to talking about this with you. Why don't we get started by you giving a little background on what Federated Wireless does and who your customers are?
Sure. Well, thanks for the kind introduction. I know that probably feels like a little bit of a mouthful, but I'll see if I can simplify it a little bit.
Sure.
So maybe just quickly about Federated. We are headquartered here in Arlington, Virginia. The company has been here since 2015. We're currently around 100 employees. And what we do is create a new way to access spectrum to create wireless connectivity. So spectrum, the nation's radio waves, are really the lifeblood, the foundation of any wireless network. And that includes things like how we use Wi-Fi and 4G or 5G today. Spectrum is what powers the networks that mobile network operators run, or that Wi-Fi access points run on inside your home or inside your business. What we do is create a new way of accessing radio waves, accessing spectrum that is really innovative. It creates a means of very high quality access. And what it does is puts power of 5G technology, the same 5G technology that the mobile network operators, the commercial carriers are deploying as part of their network, puts that in the hands of the enterprise, so that they can, use it for all sorts of next generation communication or connectivity needs, including things like AR and VR, very immersive applications in the workplace, the Internet of Things or Industry 4.0, where, sensors and other devices are connected to networks. And our solution makes those connections more reliable, more secure, and completely private, so that they really can help sort of transform the way businesses, operate, creating new efficiencies, creating higher levels of, worker engagement. So it's a really exciting initiative that we've got going, and we've been at it now for, a number of years, and sort of in terms of creating this new spectrum model. And now, we're really seeing that come to fruition in terms of these, what we call 5G private wireless networks getting deployed with our customers.
That's great. Yeah. And thanks for making that intro there. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Federated Wireless was recently honored at the Inaugural REV Awards presented by Arlington County, Virginia. Can you talk a little bit about some of the reasons why your company was recognized in this way?
Absolutely. So, as I said, we've been in Arlington now for, actually for a good long time. Arlington's our home. It's where our headquarters are located. It's a great place for us to, very conducive, business climate or business environment for us. Um, a lot of the things that we do in the world of spectrum involve regulatory agencies like the Federal Communications Commission, which is right in downtown DC, or working with the Department of Defense infrastructure, like the Pentagon or the DoD CIO office, and they're all within, a very short, drive or metro or Uber ride
Yeah.
from our offices. So we are really sort of like not only in an environment which is terrific to recruit new employees, in the tech field, an exciting place to live, work, and play, but close to sort of the community, the ecosystem in which we operate in this world of spectrum that makes it really a very sort of strategic location for us in terms of the growth of our business.
Yeah.
We were recognized, I think, for the award we won was for a capital raise that we did. So largest capital raise. We did a Series D fundraise, and that was earlier this year, and we were recognized for that that achievement.
Great. So certainly we've all been living through challenging times and continually changing times, over the last several years. How have you managed to continue to innovate despite everything that's going on?
It has been a challenging couple of years. You're right, in terms of both for both us as well as our customers. Being in the ICT, information communications technology field, no doubt, many will be aware of the sort of supply chain issues that many manufacturers have faced over the past couple of years, and our customers or partners that we work with have faced those challenges. So, that's been something that we've had to work closely with them on, and engage deeply in terms of how to help them continue to grow their businesses in ways, despite maybe equipment shortages or other issues or challenges that they have faced, but also just in terms of maintaining worker engagement, employee engagement, making sure that we are sort of continuing to promote our culture of collaboration and innovation. There have been some real challenges to make that work over Zoom, over other online platforms. So we've had to really adapt the way we do business in order to make sure that we've maintained high levels of employee engagement.
Yeah. What role does location play in your company? I mean, you mentioned that certainly there's more remote work these days, but what role does location of a company play in how you're able to maintain a competitive edge, and being located in a place supportive of innovation like Arlington, Virginia? How does that help a company like Federated Wireless have continued success?
Location is huge. It really is such an enormous part of our business and our success story. So we are currently located out in Ballston, and have announced a plan to relocate our offices down to what is now known as the National Landing, which is a area under massive redevelopment through a commercial real estate company, JBG Smith, is sort of the primary owner of the commercial real estate down there. That's where Amazon's new HQ2 is located.
Yeah.
It's right by DCA. They're building not only this entirely new sort of environment around commercial real estate, but also new residential properties. The new Virginia Tech campus will be there. It's even closer to DC and the Pentagon, where we do work. So we're really excited to be moving down there, because we think we're going to be the center of this, at the heart of this new tech community. But also, we announced a partnership with JBG Smith, where we will be helping them bring our connectivity solutions, these 5G private wireless networks, to their tenants and residents. And I think that I believe, and I've said this to others, that we will help make this national landing corridor the most wirelessly connected community in the country through the innovation that JBG Smith is pushing, as well as just the influx of new tech companies, DoD contractors, all sorts of corporations who are going to be relocating there, and are really going to want the best in new technology to help power their business.
Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned the move to the national landing area. So certainly, that's getting a lot of attention. I think it first started getting attention with the Amazon move there, and certainly there's a lot of activity there. And could you help, for those listening, what does it mean that it would be one of the most digitally connected commercial districts? What does that mean for those that live and work there? What could they expect?
Oh, so this could mean everything from new smart retail applications to increased automation inside the residential properties, smart city. So think about much more control and automation of the public transportation, use of the roads by vehicles down there, enhanced security capabilities. It will truly be sort of a entirely forward-looking community in terms of all of the automation of things that we deal with today, and frankly, where all of sort of the new automation capabilities in terms of like I said, real estate, retail, smart city, other transportation, just even connectivity within the enterprise, how all that will, I think, really, begin to transform our lives from digital signage and in retail locations to improve customer experiences to just helping businesses automate more of what they do sort of at the back end or, in their back office to make their operations more efficient, more profitable.
Yeah, that's exciting stuff. It'll be exciting. I mean, I'm right down the road myself from that area, so I'm excited to see those changes as they happen.
Yeah.
Well, Kurt, thanks again for joining. Congratulations on your company's success as well. So one last question before we go. How can other companies benefit from this type of connectivity that you're describing that's taking place, first of all, here in National Landing in Arlington, but, how can other companies elsewhere benefit from this as well?
Well, I'm going to put a big plug in again for National Landing because I think it's going to be such an exciting and diverse community of businesses that, take up residence there. And, as I think is seen in other parts of the country, in AWS, when Amazon set up their headquarters up in the Seattle area, or, obviously the phenomenon, that we know of the Silicon Valley.
Right.
When companies kind of start to create these ecosystems where application developers, equipment or hardware developers, where software and hardware, cloud all converge, that's where the real exciting innovation happens. People start to leverage the collective, know-how of these, companies that are sort of within their community. And I think that that's the phenomenon of what's going to happen with National Landing as well. So, what we will create is a platform for all sorts of new 5G innovation. So think about, having ultra reliable, ultra, low latency connectivity everywhere. And, it being, highly reliable. So not like Wi-Fi is today, where sometimes it works really well, sometimes it works not so well. Think of this as, everywhere you go, you've got sort of like that, what we would call, or some would call that 5 bars like experience, on your device. But it's more than just smartphones or tablets. It's now all sorts of other connected devices. wearable sensors, security cameras, facial recognition capabilities, autonomous, vehicles moving around, national landing. I mean, I know this sounds very futuristic, but really this is happening now. We're starting to do this in warehouses, their enterprise locations. Clearly there's tremendous, momentum building with things like autonomous vehicles and drones. Hopefully you can hear it. I am just so excited about what the future holds for national landing and the opportunities that are going to come when this connectivity component is in place. Because really, any of the applications that I talked about, they don't work well if you've got to plug in an Ethernet cable,
right?
To try and operate a drone or an autonomous vehicle, or a robot within an office space, or even just creating mobility or portability for persons. You need wireless connectivity, and that's ultra reliable wireless connectivity is what we're helping to create.
Yeah. Well, I think that's exciting too, for what it's worth. So that's great to hear. Well, again, I'd like to thank Kurt Schaubach, Chief Technology Officer at Federated Wireless, for joining the show. To learn more about Federated Wireless, please check the show notes for a link to more information. To learn more about Return on Creativity, brought to you by the Agile Brand and Arlington Economic Development, please go to returnoncreativity.com. Thanks for listening to the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom. Talk with you next week. Thanks again for listening to the Agile Brand with Greg Kihlstrom podcast, brought to you by Tech Systems. If you enjoyed the show, please take a minute to subscribe on your podcast channel of choice and leave us a rating so that others can find the show more easily. You can access more episodes of the show at www.theagilebrand.show. To get a copy of my latest book, Meaningful Measurement of the Customer Experience, visit my website at gregkihlstrom.com. Until next week, stay agile.